So Lux was first born here in this town, in our town, on our street actually. I was taking the dog for a walk and had been praying through whatever God had next for us. I knew that there was something new that was coming. And it was sort of during that time that God sort of communicated and made clear that he had not just created me as a pastor, but he'd also created me as a gamer. And my pastor and mentor, Chris Marshall, who's also a member of our elders here at Lux, has said that you know when God has called you to lead the church when he gives you a vision for his church. And it was sort of in that place through a series of taking the dog for a walk that a vision for the church emerged. But this church was different than any church because I knew that this church needed to be built to reach gamers, a group of people who I spoke their language, at least partially. I have always been a gamer in varying degrees, tabletop games, video games, board games, RPGs, you name it. If it's a game, I've usually tried it. I was even a LARPer for a little while. It's a little embarrassing to say, but I was. And so for me, it was about how do we reach gamers? And we couldn't put a church where, some physical place where we told gamers to come. We needed a church without borders. We needed a church that wasn't held back by timber or steel, a church that didn't have a floor plan. And that's when we decided to plant Lux. But from that came a whole host of doubts and difficulties. The biggest challenge for us, for Lux, was internal. It's always had to do with me, doubting myself, my own personal strongholds. I didn't believe this was something that God wanted to do. I wasn't sure that it was biblical. I wasn't sure it was a biblical thing to do. I doubted that I had what it took. It just kept running through my head. I'm in my 30s. I'm too old to make anything on Twitch. I'm too old to start into YouTube. I don't even have a social media account. I'm completely off the grid. But I couldn't get away from the fact that I felt like God not only was calling us to this, but was opening doors to make it happen. So the biggest obstacle for us, for me, has always been doubt. It's just doubt has plagued me kind of throughout this. And I really feel like that's the one weapon that the enemy has used. And the question then is, how do you overcome doubt? And because faith doesn't answer the essential question that doubt asks. Doubt asks for proof, and faith offers none. But biblically, in walking out your faith and following Jesus, the only response to doubt, the only thing that has ever overcome doubt is faith. Faith offers something to doubt that it can't overcome. But at first, it seems crazy. How do you operate out of a place of faith when you doubt that you have the ability to do it, when you doubt that it could ever possibly happen, when you doubt that anyone would ever show up? And the truth is that you just have to walk in faith. And when you walk in faith and you trust that God has you, he proves your doubts wrong over and over again. And today, the biggest obstacle is still doubt. Even after we got started, even after we've had people come and plug in, the days that I wake up that I'm focused on me and I'm not focused on God and I'm focused on what I can do and I'm not focused on what God will do are the days that I struggle with doubt. And those are the hardest days to want to keep going. Those are the hardest days to believe in something bigger than yourself, is when you get inward focused and you start doubting yourself. What do we do today?
Yeah.
We wrote the names of every single person from our Discord on the floor and on the wall. Behind us is the name of the staff and the elders, the leadership of the church, the elders overseeing the staff and the staff shepherding and raising up the church. And the church here is in the very fabric of our ministry space, the place where we'll broadcast from, the place that we'll minister from, the place where God's word will be preached from. I know it's a floor, but it's meant to represent sort of the lifeblood and the DNA of our church from the ground up. Okay, I'll put your name up here if you'll put my name up here.
Yeah, hold on, let me set this up.